last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
For those that's listening out there in the YouTube universe, shout out to Great Pill Podcast. Go holler at him. Hell yeah. Give him a like and subscribe. Go view his channel, if you will. Courtesy of Classic Lights.
For all your Spanish watchers and viewers, Telemundo, Univision, Galavisión. Hola, buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Por favor, suscriben, gusten y por favor compartir este canal de YouTube. Cualquier parte del mundo donde están ahorita, por favor. Familia, amigos o socios de trabajo, lo que sea, por todo el mundo, por favor, suscriben al canal del Grey Pill Podcast, el Pastilla Gris, por favor. Muchas gracias.
Hey, appreciate that, Marcus. If you're in the class, we're going to need some assistioso for next Tuesday, but I'll hit you up on the on our contacts. All right, so appreciate you guys coming on through and just represent for the Grey Pill Podcast. We talk about all things perspective, where everything's not black and white. There's gray in the middle. So we're going to have a conversation about Andrew Tate that had a interview for the second or third time with Piers Morgan. And we're going to debunk some lies. Andrew Tate has some very, very, very serious allegation charged against him and his brother and the two women for forming an organization group with Grape and X trafficking. All right, very, 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 very serious allegations. So here we go. I appreciate everybody for coming on through. Lady Noah, yes. This would be the up and last one. Then I think it might be 1 in the morning when I wake up. If not, it'll just be another day. Happy holidays to you, lady. Lady, happy holidays to you. Appreciate you, Digby. Appreciate you. All right, let me make sure I share this real quick. Ugh. All right, better.
Well, nearly a year since we last sat down together. Very different time. It was in my London studio. And 8 days after that, you got arrested. What's the year been like for you?
It's certainly been an interesting one. I've been constrained this entire year. I spent 93 days in a Romanian dungeon, 5 months locked in my house, and now I'm restrained within the country of Romania. So it's certainly been a turbulent time.
The moment you got arrested, it was all pretty dramatic. The video came out, the world saw it, a lot of people smashing into your home. Did you have any inkling, warning that something like this may happen?
I knew it. I kept saying before I was arrested on every single podcast I did, I said, you get 3 lives in the world. The first life, they're going to cancel you. They're going to slander you. They're going to delete your access to social media so you can't defend yourself. The second life, they're going to try and put you in jail for no reason. And if you continue to speak against the power, they're going to assassinate you. I knew I was on my second life. I kept saying it. I knew it was coming. I didn't know the bullshit reason they'd use, but I found out once I was in a cell.
All right. We already know law number 1 already. We're already in law number 1. You know how, like, if you're a car thief, or we'll make it simpler, if you are a compulsive thief, or you just always run the red lights. And I say to myself, I'll use Lady Navon Big D for a minute as an example. if I keep running red lights and I keep getting traffic tickets, but I'm not paying my traffic tickets, and then I just keep randomly screaming and shouting out to Lady Navo, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get arrested one day. I'm gonna get arrested one day. And Lady Navo, like, why? What do you mean? Because they're after me, Lady Navo. They after me. I know it. It's the Matrix. They're after me. And then one day out the blue, let's say 6 months down the road, me and Lady going driving down the street, and I get randomly pulled over for no apparent reason, unbeknownst to her, and I get a ticket. I don't even get a ticket this time. I get arrested. Why? Because I have warrants out for me. They've been waiting for me to mess up one good time, so therefore I got pulled over, stopped, ran my plates, checked my tags, everything else, everything matched up. It's me. Now I'm arrested. But then I'm screaming and shouting in the air. The Matrix did it. The Matrix did it, lady. They're coming for me. I told you. I warned you. Remember, I kept telling you they're coming for me. I told you. Yeah, you know why they kept coming for you? Because you kept doing dumb illegal stuff over and over again. Suspicions was out, investigations was out on you for a lengthy period of time. They connected their dots, they crossed their T's, and there we go. Of course, they're going to come after you. When you do the stuff you do, they're going to come after you. Just like when you do crimes of any kind, all right? Only difference is between the story I gave of the traffic violation versus this character here. He fled the country to avoid his crimes. That's the only difference. Okay? Appreciate you, Columbus. Appreciate you. So let's get to it.
When you were arrested, you don't speak any Romanian at
Zero.
all. And they didn't speak English to you.
Correct.
So you were taken to a cell. You had no idea what they were alleging you'd done.
I was arrested on the 27th of December, so because of Christmas and New Year's and other problems, they couldn't even translate my paperwork for 2 weeks. So for the first 2 weeks I was in a prison cell, I had no idea why. I was given papers in Romanian. I could read human trafficking. I understood, but I was like, human trafficking who, when, what? None of this makes sense. I waited 2 entire weeks inside of my cell before I was given an English translation, and then I realized.
Who, when, what? I don't know nothing. But I left the country to go flee to another country because his words is out there. His words for the less crime, the less criminal activities, where he can get away with more than what you can get away with in these states. So he selected his country thinking he can pretty much get away with murder. Make that make sense. But he don't know nothing. JoJo don't know nothing until JoJo get caught.
That's exactly how ridiculous the whole case was. Just to clarify, I am accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok. That is what I'm accused of. I told some girls I know how to post.
And another lie right there. He didn't get arrested because he was telling some friends on TikTok. He was, again, over a course of years, lies and illegal activities catching up to him where he was using, well, we'll just share it out. We'll wait. Give it a few minutes.
On TikTok to become viral when I was at the time the most viral person on the planet. And they are saying I'm a human trafficker for that reason. It is insane.
Well, we'll come to what you've been accused of. It's more serious than the way you've categorized it.
That's
we'll
correct.
There is a lot of speculation that the reason the Romanian authorities knew that you were back, because you were en route, I believe, to Dubai for a New Year's Eve party, is that you were interacting with Greta Thunberg on social media, and you had a pizza in front of you which came from a well-known Romanian pizza store. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think so. I think that they know where I was. A lot of people knew where I was, and they had.
Yeah, because he was actually oversharing on his Instagram, his tweets, everything else he was doing. He was pretty much oversharing a lot of information. So, you know, I can't really put too much emphasis on it, but to a lot of what was said, that's pretty much how he got caught. I wouldn't say a pizza box because I think that was silly, but yeah, it was a lot of things he was doing out there that got him caught up.
Instructions from higher up to teach me a lesson. I was on my second life, and that's exactly what I'm going through right now.
There's an irony to your situation because you always said the reason you came to Romania was precisely because you thought you could avoid being in this situation.
Well,
That's true. That is exactly what he said. He even also said if he do get arrested, he can dump a whole burr of cash. It's in the shorts. He can dump a whole bunch of cash and he could just walk out the door. That's exactly what he said.
Loved Romania, and it's a strong Christian nation with strong traditional values. I want a life where I'm left alone by government.
And Romania isn't the most Christian nation, the most Christian anything else. Romania is actually one of the most corrupted countries out there. One of them. Shout out to Romania. I'm a fan of Dracula. Shout out to Count Dracula.
I don't believe in big government. I'm trying to avoid that. It felt like Romania was a place which was very safe societally, and the government was not too interested or involved in people's lives. But things changed. Also, your freedom and your ability to speak the truth is heavily correlated to your insignificance. When you become large and people start listening to what you say, you soon realize you no longer have freedom of speech. And it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. If they decide you must be assassinated, you will be assassinated.
You in jail, what was that like?
Romanian jail is not English jail.
You describe it. What was the cell like?
I have to be careful what I say because I don't want to insult the Romanian justice system, which I'm still beholden to. However, it's exactly as bad as people would expect it to be. Luckily, it was in the winter, so the cockroaches were not too bad.
You just assaulted. You just assaulted their jail. You just assaulted it like a whole bunch of cockroaches. So that means when it get warmer, more cockroaches. Winter, less cockroaches.
It was also during Ramadan, so I didn't have to eat so much, which was helpful because of the situation. I think the most stressful thing about it is I had no idea how long I was going to be in there for. I was dragged from my house. I was given papers in Romanian. I didn't know why I was there. I found out why I was there, and it was garbage. I couldn't seem to get out. I could have been held for years. It's very stressful. And the best thing you can do is turn to God and train as hard as possible. I did thousands of push-ups a day every single day.
Were you in solitary in this period, 3 months?
No, I wasn't in solitary the entire time. Sometimes I was by myself. Sometimes I was with other guys, and sometimes I was with my brother. So,
when you were on your own, were they keeping you in there for 24 hours a day? Were you allowed out?
No, I wasn't allowed out. There was no yard time. It was 24 hours a day, locked in a single room, probably 3 or 4 steps large, and you do nothing but stare at the wall. And
How many days did you do that for, on your own?
11, 12.
I mean, that's a pretty grim scenario for anyone.
Life's grim.
For you, always being Mr. Confident, you've said, interestingly, that you wouldn't categorize what you were feeling as depression because you don't believe in the concept of depression. You and I have argued about that before. But it sounds to me, from what I've seen you say when you've talked about this, that was pretty close to depression, what you were feeling.
Life's grim. And if you want to be a superhero, you have to understand in every single superhero movie, he is losing for 80% of the movie.
Yeah, but we're talking about real life, though. We're not talking about being a superhero. You're human. That's pretty much what Pierce Morgan said at this point. You're human. You're not Superman. You're not the Green Lantern. You're not He-Man. You are a human being. So as a human being, the conditionings that you was in, locked up for 10 to 11, 12 days, and you're looking at just nothing but the wall, and according to you, cockroaches, during the winter, that's going to take a toll on a human being. If you were Superman, a superhero, you'd have bust out and kept it pushing. That's the difference. You're not a superhero. You're a human being.
He's going to suffer for the majority of the movie before he wins at the end. I've always wanted an exceptional life, Pierce, and I'm not a coward. And I knew that by telling the truth about certain issues, I was going to pay the price for it. So I won't say that I deserve to be in jail, but I certainly put myself in there by telling the truth to the populace and telling the truth and living.
But when you're on your own in that...
And again, that's not why you went to jail for telling the truth. You literally went to jail for organized crime, rape, and sex trafficking. That's literally what you went to jail for.
Cell. What were you thinking? It's a long time to self-reflect, right?
It certainly is. And I think my number one concern when I was in jail, despite the fact that my situation was dire, were my concerns as a man and all the people I have to take care of, and my children and my family and the people I pay for and all the people who work for me. And truthfully, I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried about everybody else. And I think that's the true masculine frame.
Did you get emotional? Did you shed tears in your cell?
I'm an emotional man. I think men are hyper emotional. We just have to control it. I was extremely busy inside of my jail cell. I had lots of push-ups to do. I was very concerned about the people on the outside. I was trying my best to get out. It's difficult for me to answer the question because it was an interesting frame of mind. I knew that God was watching and I had to perform. It's very difficult for me to...
You had to perform for God. You had to perform for God. Let that sink in. That doesn't even add up, but he had to perform for God.
Go through life saying, I'm the top G, I'm this, I'm that, and speak about mental resilience and mental toughness. And then the second I'm thrown inside of a solitary confinement cell, cower out. I'm not that person. There's some other people who talk about mental toughness and want to give advice. And when bad things happen to them, they end up addicted to prescription drugs. I'm not a coward and I'm not a liar.
No, but it would be perfectly natural to be emotional in that scenario.
Yeah, because you're human. You're a human being.
And there's no shame in admitting that.
I was emotional. I missed people. I missed them. And I knew they missed me. So I felt a strong sense of missing.
But you cried.
There were tears that ran down my face, but I did not cry.
I mean, that's crying.
I would disagree.
Because you're worried about admitting that. You think it sounds
Absolutely not. That's a perfectly fine scenario to cry in. But I think the act of crying is an act of desperation. To sit and to cry is an act in and of itself.
He didn't say sit and cry. He said, did you cry? You said tears ran down my eyes, therefore you cried. Again, it's okay being human. It happens. You cried. It's all right.
Do push-ups thinking of your children with tears running down your face, but you're concerned with finishing as many push-ups as possible within that day. I do not consider that crying. I consider that tears running down my face.
When you found out what they were alleging you'd done, sexual assault, exploitation, and so on, what did you feel about that? What was your first reaction?
My first reaction was, the standard playbook. The standard playbook for anybody who speaks up against power is sexual exploitation. Isn't it the normal one they go to? Can't we name like 10 or 15 people right now they hit them with this exact same garbage? Name a full-grown man who's 36 or 37 years old who's not had sexual relations with a woman at some point in the past. And the way the Matrix works is they lie by omission, right? They just hit Russell Brand with it. I think they hit P. Diddy with it this morning. Julian Assange, they just go,
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. This is a perfect example of projecting and deflecting. You can't be putting on everybody else with your situation. You can't compare your situation with P. Diddy. Cannot compare P. Diddy moving like R. Kelly. That's what P. Diddy was doing. All it is just a matter of time. His stuff is caught up with him. That's it. So now your stuff caught up with you. Got to deal with it. Yeah, cheese and rice, Grace. Cheese and rice. Cheese and rice.
hit with it. He's still in a cell.
But lots of people get hit with these allegations and it turns out to be true.
A lot of people get hit with them and they turn out to be false.
Yeah, but you're sort of trying to make out all the people you just named are innocent. You don't know that.
Of course I don't know that, but a lot of people get hit and it turns out to be false.
Exactly. So why would you compare somebody else? That's the problem. They didn't get hit with the same scenario you're doing. P. Diddy didn't have no webcam business and they got girls in here doing that stuff. That's not what P. Diddy did. P. Diddy was pretty much pulling the R. Kelly, grabbing young girls, influencing them, which, to be fair, she stayed around for 10 years. So she had many opportunities to get out. But what you did, you pretty much had girls leave from another country, come to your place and seclude them in where they're at, and took all their belongings, passports, all that stuff, so they wouldn't get out. That's the charges against you. Not just one, multiple women is coming forward, plus other your own self-snitching video, which you'll get to that later.
So why would you assume they're innocent?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the way the Matrix operates is it chooses something which is heinous. If they accused me of drug dealing, nobody would care. They choose something which is heinous, so the process itself is a punishment. So they damage your reputation throughout the process, regardless of whether it's successful or not. Then what they do is they lie by omission. They throw you in a cell and they contact everyone you've ever interacted with. 2,000 people I know were called. And they were looking for one person to say they're a victim. By the way, they failed. They did not even find one. But
that's a lie too, because in the video earlier, Milk Bar TV, and I forgot the other one, Skeptic Nonsense. I'm sorry if I'm getting this channel wrong, but it pretty much reported The lawyers have stepped forward. It gave a count, could be 11 before, I think it's like 3 and 4 of women that came forward. Again, plus all the self-snitching videos he's been doing. All the self-snitching videos he's been doing. That with itself is enough.
They did. They would then say, Andrew Tate's victim, he's a sexual assaulter, and they would remove the testimony of the 1,000.
And that's not how the courts run. They find a victim, they choose not to put their names and stuff out there publicly because guess what? You allegedly the person that's been accused of what you're being accused of, and since you're high profile, you could have an influence on them or people surrounding them to get them to change their minds. That's how that works. Had nothing to do with the Matrix. It's called the law. And unfortunately, you in Romania, they have their laws a little bit different than here in the States.
999 people who said I'm a very nice man. Lie by omission, and then they put together this entire package, used the mainstream media to convince the world that you deserve to be in jail, and that's how the Matrix operates.
I mean, to be clear, I don't know if you're guilty or not.
I do.
You're perfectly entitled to say that, and right?
Of course I know.
But I don't know, and I will await any trial that comes.
That's true.
To see what comes out in the trial and see what happens, right? So I'm not going to prejudge the trial. I'm not going to judge you and say, I think you're guilty. I don't know, right? We are where we are. You've been charged with serious crimes, and it's likely you'll face a trial, and we'll see how that all plays out, obviously. Going back to jail, how are you treated by other people?
Everybody in jail was extremely apologetic to me. All of the staff, the police officers, everyone who worked in the jail, the person who served me my meal, everybody was very sorry for what happened to me. They made it very clear they knew it was garbage, and they were apologetic. That was the only vibe I could give you. They were kind of like, listen, you got too big. I'm sorry. This is how things work. And sorry, here's your meal. Nobody had any real problem with me. None of the prisoners had a problem with me.
Did you get into any fights?
There was a couple scenarios where violence could have occurred, but I think once people realize that violence is a certainty and that you do not operate under a fearful realm, they often aren't so interested.
So people threatened you?
I wouldn't say they threatened me, but they would have liked to have got the opportunity to threaten me.
And what happened?
And they realized that would have been a bad decision. And all in all...
Well, what did you say to them? Because you don't speak Romanian, so...
I didn't, you're right. I actually used a quote from Street Fighter. I said, I quoted Dowson, and I said, they do not understand the secrets of yoga fire, because I knew they had no idea what I was talking about. It was near the washing machines, and they looked at me like I was completely crazy, and they walked away.
There's more than...
All right. This man says Street Fighter. Oh, man. Shout out to Grace Ford. Grace Ford says, I don't always believe in all women, but I also don't stand for what he did either. He may or may not be guilty, but he did, and the women did was wrong, period. Yeah, it was 2 women that was running with them. I mean, it like on the website, the stuff that they were saying, again, for me personally, again, I'm for the justice system. I think last time it was me, a few other people talked about it, but a lot of stuff doesn't add up. I'm going by what he's saying publicly. And a lot of it contradicts what he's saying, like even right now. And there's like 2 platforms consistently. Every time he opened his mouth is finding other things that he says that doesn't add up. Like stuff casually, like I know a lot of men in most spaces say, hey, we want younger, feminine women. Okay, you can kind of understand that, let that pass by, but at the same time, it's like, what do you mean by that, right? That's like an eyebrow raise. What do you mean by you want younger, fitter women? And then he goes in detail about it, and then it kind of adds up more context. Like, okay, that's a red flag. That could be a little bit sus. Then there's another video, kind of adds up a timeline, because that actually adds more context too, where he gives a huge, consistent, detailed story of one woman that he met, that he knew he was the girlfriend of. I think he was like 28 and 30. She was 15. And he reached out to her. They had a relationship. He brought her over from one country to where he was at. And that's what traditionally, since he called himself a pimp, that was the first bottom chick. And whatever rules and regulations he worked out with her, she went with there and she ran with it. So now the timeline adds up. Now we can argue the fact, like, because there's been, again, conversations with people saying that, hey, if that woman is legal, I will sleep with her, I will date her, I will marry her, everything else. Some people find that offensive, especially here in the States. If a 15-year-old married or sleeping with a 28-year-old, that's crazy, frowned upon. People's deeming you as a Geppetto and everything else, right? But in other countries, the age of consent, the legal age, is 15. So if she's saying, hey, I'm cool with it, she's 15 and he's 28, 30, nobody's not going to say anything, right? Because it's a part of the law. So, but as far as that context, the story that he gave, she was 15, he was like 28, 30. They got together, had a relationship. They've been around with each other for like 5 years. And then after that, she went her own way. They had more girls down the line. That's pretty much how that worked out. Boom. So she says, I personally work with women all ages with certain issues, and they're not always exactly. They're not always innocent. So there's 2 on record that was arrested with him and his brother. There's no new update on it. I've been looking for that, but it still stands to the last thing. Like I think they're still locked up. Nothing new came forward. I don't know if they are released on how, like, on house arrest or whatever, like how Tristan and Andrew Tate is. So legal age can be 18, in my opinion. Yeah, some states here. I'm trying to remember. There was a conversation one time. It was because pretty much here in the States, the majority is 17. Is the youngest in the States overall. A good bulk of it is 17, and then it's 18. But yeah. But now we can say morally, because this has happened too, where, kids come up, like even adults now say, hey, I lived a rough life, or most adults say, hey, I had to grow up real fast, meaning that, hey, either they had a bad childhood, so the age of 12 they were living out on their own, age of 14 they was living on their own. I remember when I was high school, somebody I didn't know until like later on, that was going to high school with me, she had her own apartment ever since she was 14. Ever since you're 14. So there you go. It happens.
One person,
Correct.
and they made it clear that they wanted to.
All
Well,
in-
what did you say to them? Because you don't speak Romanian, so
I didn't. You're right. I actually used a quote from Street Fighter. I said, I quoted Dowson, and I said, they do not understand the secrets of yoga fire, because I knew they had no idea what I was talking about. It was near the washing machines, and they looked at me like I was completely crazy. And they walked away.
there's more than one person,
Correct.
and they made it clear that they wanted to.
I have to be careful what I say because I'm still beholden to the Romanian judicial system.
Yeah, but that's just an incident in jail. That's nothing
correct.
to do with the system.
An incident report was written, and it's better I don't mention it.
It was a direct threat to you.
I've had threats, yeah, and I have threats every single day of my life, and I think jail is a hyper-pressurized version of reality, and you need to have an extremely strong mind so you don't attack yourself, and an extremely strong body so others don't attack you. And I understood that there was a threat of violence at all times, and I just decided.
I don't care how strong or how tough you is, you can still get laid out. That's just a fact. I don't care how much training you do. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to take you out. I do not care. What's going on? I apologize, bro, because I will jack up a name. That's just pretty much my weakness. Arum sound. Arum sound. Appreciate you. He says, I have the video where he tells the details of that great pill. He was a citizen of the UK. Even if it was legal in her country, it wasn't in his, where she was brought back to. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I was on somebody's platform and we was pretty much rehashing, I think, the update when he, I think it was before or around the time he actually was house arrest, and it was a lawyer. We was doing like pretty much an update because she covered the first beginning of the whole Andrew Tate thing when he was introduced on Fresh and Fit, and the whole Hustles University, which is like just going wild. And it was a guy claiming that he was part of Hustles University, and he had like one little picture with with Fresh and Fit. That was literally his avatar picture. It was weird. And he was on the platform. He's talking about it and like talking about all the good things and stuff about Andrew Tate. He was literally, so I came on, we had a conversation. A lot of stuff wasn't weird. I couldn't like connect the dots at that time because it's more on the like the red pill, like breaking down the red pill or debunking a lot of the red pillars talking points doesn't add up to their real life or their quote unquote lifestyle. So then I think like a few months later, some news developments came up with Andrew Tate, spoke to the content creators like, hey, you want to do an update on the situation? Like, yes, did that. And a red pillar by the name of Dale Saint came on. We had a conversation. And this right here, what you're talking about, I literally brought that up to the conversation. It was like, you do know he was messing with a minor at the time, right? And he was like, no, he don't believe it. And I was like, okay, that what you said, his own words, plus somebody else lining up the connecting the dots. The guest that was on Tomfoolery, him played that whole video. And he still didn't believe it. So when you have people like that, it's like it's not even an argument at all. It's like I can't have a conversation with you no more. Like I'm literally showing you what this person is saying verbatim, consistently over years, lying. Now I can say if he's, he being grandiose, like, yeah, I'm the hero. I got to be strong and tough, and you can get a pass for that. But just the allegations on him and the consistent lying, the stories don't add up. Even the conversation he had by himself, the whole self video, then moving forward, the same conversation he had on Fresh and Fit about the webcam video, like a lot of it doesn't add up, and it's a lot of contradictories right there. Excuse me. Sound says, yeah, cognitive dissonance is a real thing. Yeah. We had it was a whole conversation about it. I was down for it. I was like, hey, you sure? Yeah, if a Fresh and Fit, them my boys on boots on the ground, I tell them about everything, and I was okay. I was like, well, we got this conversation right now. I had the conversation. He still wasn't believing. I was like, okay, cool. We're good. We're good. But let me get out of this and share. Shout out to Milk Bar. I want to make sure I have the. Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to get to some debunking. So these red pills would hate to see in the biologists who disprove the alpha male concept. They don't care, man. They don't care. I mean, it was one on LT, another platform where we had a conversation. He was, I'm fine with. It's like I'm fine with the conversation of you disagreeing, but when we're laying out facts, for me, it's like we can't really have no conversations no further. But at that moment, it was another one where he was very sound with the conversation. He didn't sound like, like he was off the wall. He was very clear about how he felt. He was laying down like, hey, he felt like there's some good pointers with the idea and what he can take from it. I'm like, okay, cool. But at the same time, like, well, everything else you do know is like far-fetched. You do know a lot of stuff isn't what they're saying, who they are matching up to what they're saying. Like, for example, and this is not me trying to pick at Andrew Tate outfit or anything else, right? He says he's a millionaire. He got all the money, the Bugattis and stuff like that, right? Okay, now for example, the outfit he's wearing right now, this look the same outfit he wore on almost every other platform that he's been on as a guest. I'm dead serious. You will see this outfit at least 4 out of 10 on every other platform. So if he's so high value, he got just that little grain right there. So if he's so high value, he have all the money and everything else. His brother actually changes more than he do. He still got the same outfit on. This is the same outfit on. He's with this girl. I forgot what her name is. Somewhere in the UK when I interviewed with her. Same outfit he had on with 2 more interviews with somebody else. So I don't know. Make it make sense.
Get big on TikTok. That is what I'm accused of. I'm accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok. That is what I'm accused of. I told some girls I know how to post on TikTok to become viral, and they are saying I'm a human trafficker for that reason. It is insane. So I'm
Now again, this is where he said the case is about TikTok.
accused of making money from TikTok.
Webcam stuff, right?
TikTok.
Okay, but wait, let's call it webcam stuff, right?
No, let's not call it that. The indictment is about TikTok.
Okay, that is absolutely not true. The indictment specifically mentions that he recruited girls by deception by tricking the victims into thinking he was going to date and in some cases marry them. Then he transported them to Romania. He sheltered them in a house full of sex workers. He invoked false debts that the girls could never get out of. And he did so by force, coercion, and threats of violence, all for the purpose of sexual exploitation on MyFreeCams and OnlyFans. And
which was a lot of people still was arguing in defense of him, saying, hey, he can't hold them women. Look, they're walking out the door. And again, people have to explain and break down the elements when it comes to that. Like somebody literally have to explain to you. That's like saying, even here in the States, when we sit there arguing and yell with women, like, why are you still with them? Why are you still with them? It's pretty much the same thing. Only difference is they're outside the country, or you put them in I don't know. It's sad.
And that is textbook human trafficking via the Loverboy method. And it's in accordance with the Palermo Protocol, which is the international standard for human trafficking.
So not just TikTok.
Right. It's not just TikTok.
Why did you call it a PhD pimping hose degree?
No, you're talking about an old video which was made satirically.
Why did you call it?
And again, another lie. Pimping hose degree. This is something he was bragging about, something he's talking about. It's not an old website. It's old now, but when he had it and he got arrested, him and his brother and the two girls got arrested. They pretty much changed it and tried to hide it. But again, you can't hide and change data because data is everywhere. Can't hide it. That's why they seized everything out the house. This is why they popped up at his house randomly. So again, if he knew so much and he predicted the future, like the analogy I gave with Lady Navoa, I know, but if I know so much, I would prep for that.
Oh, that was satire.
Of course it was. 9 years ago, the internet was a very different place. And if you're going to sit here and say, oh, 9 years ago, you said stupid things on the internet, it's not a gotcha moment because every single person has.
The PhD course is about how I ran my webcam studio.
Welcome to the Tate PhD course. If you've bought this course, which you obviously have, congratulations, you're going to change your life for the better.
The PhD course was not satire, and it was being sold on his website, curbatate.com.
And he got the shirt. look at him. He got it all, the merch, everything.
Until his arrest. After the arrest, his team then deleted it from his website and went as far to actually scrub any trace of it from the internet archives. And of course, we taken a copy of that before it was wiped. The PhD course is also mentioned in the case files where his videos have been transcribed about him bragging about what the course is.
And there was like a video of a young guy and a younger kid that was on the Hustlers University that was talking about it, explaining how they got in, what they was doing, how much you have to spend for it. And I don't even know if you know this sound, because Duke showed it and it blew. There was the most craziest, the craziest weird YouTube pyramid scheme ever. It's like if me and you running a pyramid scheme, then we get somebody in on it, but it went deeper than that to the point where they had other people promoting them on YouTube channels. So again, there's two I've seen so far where you hear a person talking, but you see the video of nothing but Andrew Tate showing all the stuff they're doing. And then if you look at the bottom, there's like a link directly to their channel, like straight to their website. It's like a lot of them out there. Like Duke had found some. I saw two. It was crazy. So any video that's pretty much talking positively, extremely positively about the Tates, anything that they're doing, like just go down their description, look on it. And if there's a link there and it's going straight to directed to them, boom, that's part of them. They are part of it. Like it was crazy. Sound said he sold it as a class until he got arrested. Yes, it's still on the way back. Correct. Can't get rid of all that. Okay, how much you scrubbing? I'm not arguing the maturity in the 20s of Grace added it. Okay, that's between y'all two. You said you're cooking what? You're cooking some squash. Okay, have your business.
And the following video that you're about to see was uploaded in 2020.
So yeah, on corporatate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is pimp and hose degree that I'm.
Clever.
And
Clever.
that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO was
how I got girls to fall in love with me.
Find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well. Mm-hmm. So I teach everything I know in there.
And they were looking for one person to say they're a victim. By the way, they failed. They did not even find one. Show me a picture. Show me a video. Who's even a victim? There's nobody. The whole thing is made up.
You said earlier, who are these women? Well, there are 7 named in the indictment.
Yeah, have you seen?
That's true. Now, earlier in the previous video where there's no debunking, just him and them two having an interview, he said there was one, or basically one. But there's several that just got brought up. So let's play that again.
Find one. Show me a picture. Show me a video. Who's even a victim? There's nobody. The whole thing is made up.
You said earlier, who are these women? Well, there are 7 named in the indictment.
Yeah, have you seen the videos of them on the internet saying we're not victims? They made us be victims. And the victims are saying, I didn't exploit them to do TikTok.
There are formally 7 victims between the 2 brothers, and 5 of the 7 victims have given official statements to the authorities against the brothers, and the 2 that did not were instructed by Tate to say they were not, and all of this was exposed in his recorded jail calls. Those calls are now part of the case files that have been covered by Romanian media and Rolling Stone magazine and in my timeline. The 2 victims also have tattoos that say things like own.
Yes, and these are the 2 women, the bottom B's right here. These are the 2 women.
By Tate tattooed on their body, and they were dating him. After Tate was arrested, they were taken to Dubai, where the prosecutor claims that they are still under his control. And there's a civil case getting started in the UK where 4 victims claim that Andrew Tate sexually assaulted them.
In the prosecution file, if you want to talk about it, there's not a single bank transfer. There's not a single piece of evidence for any money, but they haven't found any money.
See, this is my problem right here with the self-snitching. Close your mouth. Close your mouth. Shout out to Grace. What's Grace say? Grace says squash and grape probably laughing out loud involves eggs, cheese, and whatever. What the? I'm about to look into that because I've been fancying what I had before Thanksgiving. 2 weeks. I've been hunkering. Well, actually, I ain't got hunkering. I had fajitas. It was good. I just been on fajitas for like 2 weeks, and then Thanksgiving came. I said, all right, let's get some greens and barbecue and homemade dressing. That was just me. So now I'm just like ate out. I'm just chilling. Oh, I did try eggnog. I will have eggnog once a year. That's pretty much my fancy. I'll look into it. I'm an open mind foodie, but sometimes I'm picky too. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Money. There's no money.
Once again, there are multiple pages of transfers and financial transactions in the files. In fact, Dicot even.
Good Lord. Tate Tristan obtained money under the just because of the Mother of Stars, came money in the UK account opened under the name of he got a fake name. Goose received over $500 making large transfers to the defendant Andrew Tate under the name pimping. Jesus. Andrew Tate under the names pimping, poo, money, hustling. Investigators revealed that the defendant Tate Emery Andrew transferred the sum of what was that? I guess 4 million and something other 4.1 to a bank account with the explanation Rev OnlyFans. Dun 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 dun.
Even dedicated an entire evidence volume to them. It's volume number 70. So inside of that volume of financial transactions, they even go as far to put the warrants issued in order to get the financial transaction data. So they have money, they have transfers, they know how much money was sent from the brothers to the brothers, and they even know the accounts and the account numbers that they were sent to. There's also a new investigation that's underway that's looking at.
Duncan also announced that the Tate brothers could be facing even more charges, indicating they were still investigating them for trafficking of minors, human trafficking, money laundering, and other possible charges. Whoa.
Into their involvement in money laundering and tax evasion.
You know what? And this is just I'm thinking about it. This is a theory, right? Of them letting them out and roam free. I think they're giving them more rope to hang themselves by them just doing that. Because usually, this is me. I'm just guessing. I think maybe they let them in there. I mean, of course, they got to arrest them, right? Seize all their assets. I think why they was in there for that long was just to let them sweat. And then I guess when some more evidence was coming out, it's like, you know what? Let's put them in house arrest, see what they do. Let's take them out. Let them run around, but they can't leave the country because we have their passports. Let them run around, get a little bit more comfortable, the freedom to see either A, you're going to self-snitch, which you're doing some more of, or B, do something either extra stupid because now he's free, right? He got to make them the moves, whether phone or something else. Because it was on the interview that Piers Morgan said, he made a comment. He asked him, like, how are you getting more? How are you getting paid? Like, how's transaction money? Like, how's the house? Whatever you can take care of. And he made like a little slick little comment, like, I'm getting by. I'm getting through. Sound says, I think they're also trying to feed evidence of the Soteria shooting their manager, who is the money guy. Wow. I didn't think about that. That's a good one. I didn't think about that.
This investigation was announced on the day that they were indicted. So there's probably going to be additional charges specifically for financial crimes.
What did I do? I promoted accounts on the internet.
You made money.
Didn't sell crack. Didn't sell drugs. So when I was 24, 25, I sold drugs.
I remember that video. I remember that video. Oh man, I remember that video. I gotta play that back. That was funny.
What did I do? I promoted accounts on the internet.
You made money.
Didn't sell crack. Didn't sell drugs. So when I was 24, 25, I sold drugs. 10 years ago, I helped women.
I ain't gonna lie, Mick Bar. That clip was short, a little bit short-lived. You should have played the one. It was that one, but it's also one where he goes in great detailed length about him selling the drugs, the guy that he owed money to, the other drug dealer, where he got beat up, and I think he got stabbed because he actually had that conversation too on Fresh and Fit. It was crazy, but yeah, he sold drugs too.
Promote their profiles on the internet. Correct. 10 years ago. Firstly, I have not been involved with it for 7 years. It's not how I make money. I haven't touched it for a very long time. 7 years is a long time.
You made a lot of money from it. You made millions of pounds from sexual webcam activity where you and the woman doing the webcams would make money. You accept that?
No. What I did is...
Well, that is how you made money.
No. 10 years ago, I helped women with the tax side and the technical side and the promotion of
their profiles.
The promotion of their profiles on certain websites. And I said about this, and I said, I haven't been involved with it for 7 years. There's about 10 or 15,000 women in this city who do that job now. And the fact that I had I dipped my toe in it 10 years ago isn't even significant.
Andrew did not just dip his toes in webcam. Both Tates have claimed that they became multi-millionaires by working in the webcam industry.
I became a multi-millionaire. I did this by creating a webcam webcam studio.
If I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio.
They didn't just dip their toes in it. They were neck deep in the webcam industry.
We just started fucking hammering the webcam game
for a very long time.
I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away.
And over time, I just built up this big little empire of webcam girls. At one point, I had 4 locations, 75 girls working for me.
And here's a video from April 5th, 2021, where Tate talks about hiring 20 more girls during the pandemic to work on cam. And that as COVID was coming to an end, he would keep 5 or 6 of his main girls.
Woohoo! Shout out to COVID.
When Corona came, I scaled it back up, right?
And the crazy part is, and this is another scammer right here on the left, a whole nother scammer. The date says stream live on April the 5th, 2021. Andrew Tate live, 540 layout, pro kickboxing league. Yep. There's a whole nother scammer right here.
Corona came, it was locked down. My casinos were closed, so I lost an income. That closed, and I thought, well, everyone's at home bored. Let me get the webcam going again. So I got 20 more girls online. We scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month. So I got back into the game hard. But now we're coming towards the end of Corona. I'm going to keep like 5 or 6 of my main girls.
And in addition to that, according to a witness statement in the case files, there was at least one girl working in 2022 on webcam. He also has tweets from 2020.
I bet you I know where that girl is. I bet you I know. I can a good guess who that girl is. Master Pro Andrew Tate, April 21. This is like 3 years ago. Not that far. He's talking about 7 and 10 years ago. Last month was great for the cam at OnlyFans. 8 girls generated $551,000. I'll give them a couple of years each and keep the 500. This month is looking to be even better. Notice is Dr. Memori A. Tate. I have a PhD. Get yours here. What the?
Bragging about the money that he was making on webcam. And of course, he was also running OnlyFans during the pandemic.
For the last 2 to 3 years, I've been making money on OnlyFans from its inception all the way up till now. Currently filming this during the COVID pandemic.
You know what Loverboy method means? Being nice. He was nice and polite and kind, and they really liked him as a person, and he told them how to do TikTok.
But that's not what the
He's
Loverboy.
a Loverboy.
That's not.
If that's what this definition is, I'm a lover boy too. If that's what his definition is, that's crazy. Oh man. Sound says help Cody for the job with Ben Shapiro. Very few steps to other people. I think everybody connected, man. Especially when I read the website for the whole the hands back and forth for the money, going back and forth between him, the brothers, and some other people, that all the pictures they was taking, everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on it.
Of course it is.
Andrew, that's not what the Loverboy method is.
Absolutely it is.
The Loverboy method is where perpetrators woo victims with the prospect of a loving relationship until they can be forced into abusive situations or a form of slavery.
This is garbage.
Now, the Loverboy method means lover boys or Romeo pimps are human traffickers who usually operate by trying to make young girls or boys fall in love with them. Once they have the victims under their influence, they exploit them, for instance, in the sex industry.
Well, let's go back to that because, and this is what people need to understand too, because right here, now I know he's showing pretty much the transcripts, which again, you can find that and read for yourself. I hope people with a half a brain can do that and then make your own judgment about that. You don't have to take my word for it. But again, back to the self-snitching. It's not even just this, right? Everything this description, he literally says it. It was one woman he said, again, it's 2 stories. Well, excuse me, 2 podcasts that he was on. One was Fresh and Fit, we tell the story, and then there's another one, I forgot where else he was on, where he's give this conversation story about, hey, I know it's here. I think it's right after this one. We're pretty much going to go to it, but I'm going to say it anyway. He pretty much tells the story of he lying to the women, tell them that, hey, I want you to come live with me, I love you, all this other good stuff. Pretty much similar to what the description here and what's in the transcript. Get all the 5 girls from different countries, come to him, and then he springs on them like, hey, after he get all their stuff, like, hey, you know what? All y'all my girlfriends, I need you to do this webcam. Boom. and then it just goes from there. That's pretty much how the whole thing got started from him. But it's also a side story where his brother talks about he started the webcam, and then his brother was Andrew Tate was losing money, and his brother Tristan got him involved with it. Because even his brother on Fresh and Fit was like, when Andrew was like being very braggadocious about the story, and then Tristan was like, "Well, hey, I've done it too. I got girls also. I got the webcam too." So
influence, they exploit them. For instance, in the sex industry.
When you saw the logs of the web chats between people from the war room to each other, a lot of it made disturbing reading. Were you disturbed by it when you read that?
Firstly, a lot of that is bullshit. A lot of that's fake. Secondly,
you think that literally those logs are fake?
Absolutely. A lot of them are fake. Secondly,
were you disturbed by anything you read?
No, because none of it's real. There's 4,000 members inside. If you're telling me that amongst 4,000 members with 24-hour chats 7 days a week for the last 5 years, they've managed to find 2 guys talking locker room talk, and that somehow offends the world, then nobody understands how the world works. That's not why I was in jail. It's nothing to do with the war room.
Wrong again. The war room chats have been verified by multiple sources, including other war room members, and are part of the case. The prosecutor dedicated volume number 75 specifically to the war room and the
volume 75 playback minutes and translations of video content from the war room. Yep. Plus Vice, but I'm not gonna get on Vice, but yes.
Content that's been extracted and exported from the war room. They transcribed and translated all of that content, and it's part of the war room. Total, there's around 50 gigabytes or more of war room chat leaks, and they are, unfortunately for Mr. Tate, all real, and they are recent.
Not the kitty. Not the kitty. In regard, I don't lie about my body. I after access beautiful women and the PhD test methods. I support. That's crazy.
Total, there's around.
Man, there is nothing more one way to skin a cat. It depends on the specific situation. In a situation with her, I have her work 29 days a month. She doesn't have any friends. She is allowed only Instagram to make money with it. No people from Romania, no friends. I cheat. Don't answer the phone for days in a row. Jesus. What's this other guy saying? I have to use the tactic because she was something like, I already to all you say and you don't do nothing for me. Also, Tate is way above my level. Can't emulate 100% his methods. I'm not delusional. I play my current position. That just sounds like abuse to me. Might as well have her sew shoes. Geez, they don't give a crap. Last week, a girl from the studio was angry. I blocked her number. She was annoying me, saying unblock me. Now I took her keyboard and hit her in the head with it. Jeez.
Around 50 gigabytes or more of war room chat leaks, and they are, unfortunately for Mr. Tate, all real, and they are recent.
All people who go to festivals are stupid. It is peasantry. I've never been to a festival in my life. All festivals are peasantry. Anybody who goes, I do not associate with. I've never been to one in my life. I never will. My first ever concert ever. Never been before. Or festival or whatever it is.
To be clear, you'd never been to one.
Correct.
How did you take?
Oh man. That's crazy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
That is crazy. It's another one here. Where is it? My man just be lying to be lying.
I'm accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok. That is what I'm accused of. I told some girls I know how to post on TikTok to become viral, and they are saying I'm a human trafficker for that reason. It is insane. So I'm accused of making money from TikTok.
Webcam stuff, right?
TikTok.
Okay, but wait, let's call it webcam stuff, right?
No, let's not call it that. The indictment is about TikTok.
Okay, that is absolutely not true. The indictment specifically mentions that he recruited girls by deception by tricking the victims into thinking he was going to date and in some cases marry them. Then he transported them to Romania. He sheltered them in a house full of sex.
Was doing the extended family marriage relationship and the defendant transport for her from there. He provided shelter for her in a building.
He invoked false debts that the girls could never get out.
They subjected the victim to physical violence and such occurrence resulting from actions of intimidation, surveillance, and control with the aim to sexually exploit her. They forced her to engage in activities for their production
and he did so by force, coercion, and threats of violence, all for the purpose of sexual exploitation on MyFreeCams and OnlyFans. And that is textbook human trafficking via the Loverboy method. And it's in accordance with the Palermo Protocol, which is the international standard for human trafficking.
So not just TikTok.
Right. It's not just TikTok.
Jeez. This land is your land. This land is my land. Was that Bruce Willis? Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer. I do a commercial.
I'm not on my parents' health.
Yeah, it's a commercial.
Accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok.
The girls do not even know the earnings they make from posts on OnlyFans. Primarily, I'm going to work these bitches like slaves and then make them work more hours and hours and hours. I work them like slaves. No, work like slaves. Minimum 10 to 12 hours a day. I've got some exciting news. We've got a brand new sponsor.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
With Pierce Morgan. This is an interesting interview, and we're going to dive into it. And this is why when you have a criminal case pending, you shut the fuck up. You don't, anything he says is fair game for court. And I just can't believe, first of all, I guarantee his lawyers weren't endorsing him doing this. This is for public consumption. One of the things we're going to do here is we're going to match or test what he says in the interview compared to what's in the indictment. And what's in the indictment is based on evidence. It's based on what people have either said or what he has said. So let's just get right into this.
Well, nearly a year since we last sat down together. Very different time. It was in my London studio. And 8 days after that, you got arrested. What's the year been like for you?
It's certainly been an interesting one. I've been constrained this entire...
Why does he have glasses on? Honestly, I know he's part of his top G image, but...
He don't want nobody to see the lies in his eyes, because the eyes never lie. Isn't that what they say? The eyes never lie. You got to watch that body language. So they put the shades on.
As you'll see, as he gets into this, he has, and I have watched this before, so you're going to get my analysis of this. But he's got a major criminal case pending, where he can go to prison for quite a long time. You'll see that he doesn't address anything head on. It's all periphery. It's all generalities and denials that just don't make sense.
For a year, I spent 93 days in a Romanian dungeon, 5 months locked in my house, and now I'm restrained within the country of Romania. So it's certainly been a turbulent time.
The moment you got arrested, it was all pretty dramatic. The video came out, the world saw it. A lot of people smashing into your home. Did you have any inkling, warning that something like this may happen?
I knew it. I kept saying before I was arrested on every single podcast I did, I said, you get 3 lives in the world. The first life, they're going to cancel you. They're going to slander you. They're going to delete your access to social media so you can't defend yourself. The second life, they're going to try and put you in jail for no reason. And if you continue to speak against the power, they're going to assassinate you.
Okay, they're not going to assassinate him because it's not a death penalty type case. But I will have to say that he had the keys to the kingdom. And it's his actions that have caused all this, not just some willy-nilly actions of the government.
I knew I was.
Yeah, he had a lot of money coming through, a lot of clout, a lot of pull. Him and his mouth.
On my second life. I kept saying it. I knew it was coming. I didn't know the bullshit reason they'd use, but I found out once I was in a cell.
Bullshit reason. We're going to get into that bullshit reason. And it's not just bullshit. Now, remember, it's sex trafficking. So what are the three things? Force, fraud, or coercion.
And again, this is a criminal lawyer explaining this, but nobody don't know nothing, right? Everybody making this up.
When you were arrested, you didn't actually, you don't speak any Romanian.
Zero.
And they didn't speak English to you.
Correct.
So you were taken to a cell. You had no idea what they were alleging you'd done.
I was arrested on the 27th of December, so because of Christmas and New Year's and other problems, they couldn't even translate my paperwork for 2 weeks. So for the first 2
That's one of the things I don't like about having an investigative detention, because you're sitting there and you can't defend yourself and you can't get out because you don't know what the hell's going on.
2 weeks I was in a prison cell. I had no idea why. I was given papers in Romanian. I could read human trafficking. I understood, but I was like, human trafficking who, when, what? None of this makes sense. I waited 2 entire weeks inside of my cell before I was given an English translation, and then I realized exactly how ridiculous the whole case was.
So one of the things you can see how he talks very fast, and he really thinks like very quickly, and you can tell that he knows everything he's talking about because he is speaking that is a cover, right? That is just his way of speaking to have authority, and he sounds like he's legitimate, like he must be telling the truth because he's got that cadence in his voice. Not so.
Just to clarify, I am accused of helping my friends get big on TikTok.
Okay, helping my friends get big on TikTok. Is that what you're being accused of?
We got up here.
Friends get big on TikTok. Is that what you're being accused of?
Regarding criminal investigation of the above, certain enter Tate under arrest investigation, formation of criminal organization, as provided by the Art 1236 Criminal Code, human trafficking. Number 3, grape and continued form. 2, Materials Acts. They got it all here. Tate Tristan under house arrest investigation, format of the criminal investigation, and provide an Act 367, human trafficking in continued form, as in incitement of assault of or other violence. Sheesh.
He would have these girls live stream TikToks. They would have to do this for hours and hours on end. They do it for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And that would be a feeder to OnlyFans. So he would create these OnlyFans and he's making shit tons of money, making money off TikTok, making money off of the OnlyFans, but not even telling these girls about the OnlyFans.
That is.
Hold up. Just play.
Making money off of the OnlyFans, but not even telling these girls about the OnlyFans.
Tate, no work, like slaves, human 10 to 20 hours a day. And this is a transcript. Take me out, that's a good, but when it comes to OnlyFans managed by us, I don't really want to tell the girls that they can go live because I don't want to tell them they have OnlyFans. I want that money to be used by me and you. F them. All right. Sound like Andrew Tate is a very fair man, you know.
That is what I'm accused of. I told some girls I know how to post on TikTok to become viral when I was at the time the most viral person on the planet.
If we go to page 30 of the indictment, it says the income obtained from the videos posted on TikTok is a split 50-50, meaning half the amount remains with the girls, the other half goes to the Tate brothers. The girls do not even know the earnings they make from posts on OnlyFans. So they don't even know that there's a whole nother revenue stream. And so he's using them in both contexts, taking at least half their earnings. He's conning them and doing the OnlyFans without telling them. And the web.
Yeah, but everybody else would say, "Oh, the girls are stupid. They deserve this. They should have known better." You can't. I don't know how you're not going to know better when you don't even know. Make that make sense. If I don't know, how am I going to know better?
Cam business was still going strong in 2020.
I actually have to give massive credit to the Romanian judicial system because the judge one day sat down and said, "Why are these boys in jail?" and let us go. I don't know if I would have had a fair shot like that in many other nations.
So if you remember right, they had to indict him, I think, by June. All right. So the judge didn't just say that there's, let's let these poor young men out. You know, they had to kind of set up a set of circumstances where they wouldn't flee and they wouldn't be a harm to the public. And so they put him on house arrest. But at the time, they still took all of his assets. Charging was still ongoing. And so this business that the judge just all of a sudden had sympathy for these boys because they didn't do anything wrong is so ridiculous. So this episode, just like all of our episodes, is brought to you by what? By eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. I use it all the time in my practice when I send out a retainer agreement or get medical records. Let's say, for the sake of example,
Confidential.
It is confidential, Pierce. It's
I
confidential.
don't think you marry and have kids with is confidential. Sure.
It is for me.
Really?
Of course, I am basically number one enemy of the state, Pierce. Look what they've done to me. What have they put me in jail for?
number one enemy of the state. You know, and if you looked at the theme throughout his whole thing is what a victim he is. He's the victim, right? He's the absolute victim.
I do remember in the interview he was mentioning about his children, but he never, which is funny, he never brings up anybody until after the fact he got arrested with Romania. Like he was literally finding all things like sympathetic to get the plea. I remember one time he was talking about like the rumor about the whole alleged cancer situation, so he can try to get out. Then it was like him and his brother got like kids out of nowhere. Nobody even know they had kids, which is like weird. But at the same time, he was preaching to everybody else like not have kids, not get married. This is how you should be moving. But yet they have kids. And then I remember I read a comment, I think on the actual interview with Pierce and Andrew Tate, where even a woman was like, "Oh man, I would love to have brothers like these." I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, I literally had to comment in the comment section to this person say, "You do know they have a sister and a mother, right? They're not speaking up for them, so it got to be a reason why. Obviously, they don't condone to this type of behavior."
But you know, and it's in the indictment and his own words that he talks about his own mafia ties. Talks about his ownership in casinos, you know, and let me just tell you something. He's done himself in. He is not a victim, but he paints himself as.
Like these commercials, I refuse.
Scenario.
At the beginning of this garbage, people were sitting there thinking, maybe he's a human trafficker. It's been a year. Who? Show me a picture. Show me a video. Who's even a victim? There's nobody.
So methinks thou doth protest too much. Mr. Tate, he says, who are they? They're in the fucking indictment.
Oh, I gotta play that back.
Thinks thou doth protest too much. Mr. Tate, he says, who are they? They're in the fucking indictment.
Okay, that we read. When NJ saw the victim, CB had tattooed the name of the accused, Tate's Emery. She had a reaction that made the victim, CB, understand that NJ was also in a romantic relationship with the accused, Tate. According to the expert reports regarding to the victim, AU, the development and family history includes stages of development and relationship among family members with a history of alcohol abuse and a high level of intense, even aggression. As described by AU, the family of the alcoholic is like a stage where all family members received roles, and AU's role was that of the parent child who did everything perfectly, achieving outstanding results at school.
There's 7 of them. There's 7 victims, and there are probably more, but there's 7 victims in the indictment.
I think it's
It tells
more.
who they are. It's redacted because it's got their name, their initials, and they are identified. And then there's chat logs. He's chatting with these people.
At what age do you want the kids? AU, I'm around 25. I want 10 boys and 1 girl. Really? I don't want to do. I want to see you obey. Emery. I want to see that you obey me. It's not about them. It's about me wanting to know that my woman does whatever I tell her. Emery. That's crazy.
Chat logs between Georgiana threatening these women. There's chat logs between Mr. Wonderful here, and there's chat logs with Tristan. They're all talking to these girls. There's 7 of them. Who are they? Bullshit. He knows exactly who they are. And not only that, there's also testimony from these girls. These are their statements. And they don't have any evidence. They just have statements. Statements, my dear, are evidence.
The whole thing is made up.
Well, we're going to come to what they say you've done, right? We're going to come to that. But I'm just curious. You come out of prison. You've got no ability to access any of your assets. How have you been functioning financially since then?
His own words aren't made up. He told you in his instructional videos, and those are used throughout the indictment. The indictment's 300 freaking pages. There's a lot of content there, and he tells you exactly how to control your woman, how they defraud them out of half their income, and there's also all kinds of things in the indictment about that are corroborated with WhatsApp messages and his own words. But now remember, they swept whatever money that they thought he had, but he's being funded somehow. And tell me that is not going to be a source of investigation for the cops.
I believe in prayer and I trust in God.
Well, prayer doesn't pay the bills.
And I do.
I believe in prayer and God.
Yeah, man, hallelujah. God bless the king and queen.
God, and I'm just a God-fearing guy that likes to have women online for sex and use them as slaves. Bullshit. Oh, you all of a sudden got religion after you got taken into custody? Give me a break. But who is funding your program now?
To be fair, sir, he has like multiple religions. Okay, so let Christ compel him. Let Christ compel him.
Very best.
But prayer doesn't pay the bills.
Unfortunately, absolutely everything I own was seized by the Romanian state, so I'm just going to have to survive and do my very best.
Yeah, but how?
I'm doing my very best.
Have you got wealthy benefactors helping you?
I'm doing my very best. I wish I will.
He's not answering the question. And he doesn't have to answer the question, but why the fuck is he sitting there with his sunglasses on? Why doesn't he have his shirt off? I don't know.
Benefactors. I wish I had people on my side.
You can't function on no income at all.
Seems you can.
How?
I'm doing my very best, Pierce.
What does that mean?
See, now look at what he's talking about.
See, that's the point. See, right there, that's why I came to the assumption of they let him out to see what he was going to do next. Like they have everything against him, but I think they like pretty much just tugging on the legal strings a little bit more. So this is why I'm saying they let him out, got the house arrest, then from the house arrest, still had a little ankle monitor, whatever is going on with him, just got him in the confines of walking around roaming. So they're trying to see what he does next. Because I think there's another piece of the puzzle. I think they want somebody else, either them two along with somebody else, the bigger fish. So I think they're using, and this is me guessing on this one, because I think Tate, and this is me, my opinion, I think Tate and his brother and the two chicks just guilty as all get out. But I really do think just by this alone, they're looking for somebody else too to add to the charges. See
the little smirk on his face? And you can't do it without any money. Apparently you can. Fucking A. This is a prosecutor's dream right here. Because anytime they can catch him in a lie, and his little smug fucking ego is going to be his downfall. It already is.
Means I'm doing my very best. Absolutely everything I own is taken by the Romanian state. I don't have anything they don't have.
Now, listen to the coded language there. Absolutely everything I own. That means he's probably got women out there with shit in their name. That means he's hidden assets. And they're looking for those.
What does that mean?
It means that I believe in God and I pray.
Well, God's not going to pay your bills.
God has been.
Andrew Tate probably on every YouTube channel now. Watched everybody watch him. He probably on every YouTube channel right now, watching everybody watch him.
Paying my bills so far, it seems. It's amazing how far faith can take you. It's often when you have absolutely nothing left, people turn to faith, but you should turn to faith first. You should believe in God when things are good, and then He will be there when times are bad.
Initially, you were put on this sort of rolling 30-day house arrest, and they kept renewing that month by month by month. And then in June, you and your brother and two others were formally charged with rape, trafficking, and forming an organized crime group to sexually exploit women. And there were 7 alleged victims named in the indictment. You said at the time, I look forward to being found innocent. You said earlier, who are these women? Well, there are 7 named in the indictment.
Yeah, have you seen the videos of them on the internet saying we're not victims? They made us be victims. We told them.
Well, that will all presumably be analyzed in a trial. Do you know when the trial may be?
I have no idea. It's still going to
do you believe it will happen?
I'm not sure.
That's the one thing that I'm not clear on either. I've read articles where they say that the trial could be years away. And can you imagine? Which I think in this country, we have the right to a speedy trial. There's a speedy, it's a federal case. You have the Speedy Trial Act. And you have the right to demand a speedy trial. So that means they only have a certain amount of time within which to present evidence to a jury. You can waive that or, have time excluded. But it can't just be, open-ended. That's the one thing I don't like about this system.
Yeah, but also, crap. I agree with all that, but also, it was an interview with the lawyers, not the lawyers of Tate lawyers, but the ones pretty much against Tate. Their end, they said they pretty much was ready, but they're just waiting on Tate and on their end. So I don't know if they're sitting there trying to drag this out, but that's pretty much, they're ready. So I think they're just waiting for Tate and their team at this point. But I think what I think is going to happen for just Andrew Tate is just going to try to see how this drag out. So it's pretty much on both ends who wins out of money, but the court. I mean, the trial's already open, so it's like whatever happens, happens.
It could get to a point where a judge, anytime before the trial, decides this case is garbage and throws it away.
That ain't going to happen. That is not going to happen. And here's the other thing. He doesn't have the right to have a jury trial. It's a trial before a judge.
If you ask me what I believe happened, it's very simple. They threw me in a jail cell knowing they had no case, knowing they had no victims, but they thought they plastered me all over the MSM and they say that I'm a bad person and they call enough.
Okay, they have a 300-page indictment. 300 pages. Part of his words, many text messages, a lot of testimony from these 7 ladies.
Go to 2115.
The same women who say we were not exploited, he just told us how to do TikTok. Also, in the prosecution file, if you want to talk about it, there's not a single bank transfer. There's not a single piece of evidence for any money. So I'm accused of making money from TikTok, but they haven't found any money. There's no money, and the victims are saying, I didn't exploit them to do TikTok. The whole thing is a joke.
What is...
So he said there's no money. There's just no money. There's no money. Follow the money. Actually, whenever you have a case like this, you follow the money. In this regard, cash transfers were identified in the bank account of defendant Tate, 188,000 euros. 188,022 euros through 21 operations conducted between February 23rd, 2017 and July 18th, 2018. Defendant Nigel Georgiana Manuel recorded receipts from defendant Tristan Tate in the amount of 71,000.
Now, the defendant, that's the chick. That's one of the bottom B's right here. That's one of the bottom B's right here. That's one of them. But she was also, it's 2 of them. The one presumably supposed to be the girlfriend. This one right here supposed to be the one that used to work for law enforcement for Romania, but actually became one of Tate's enforcers.
I mean, it's replete. There's transfer after transfer after transfer. I mean, there's millions of dollars going on here. It's not like he says hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's a lot of money. So for him to say they don't have any money, you think that we wouldn't fucking look? Andrew, of course we're going to look. And I guarantee you there's a document to back every one of these up. So for him to say, but this is public relations. That's all it is. I'm the victim. There's nothing to see here. You know,
I think problematic for you is the war room, which was a group
miscategorized and misunderstood.
It was called the war room.
Correct.
Okay. And it had a lot of people who were dubbed the generals who ran the war room for you. And the war room had 500 to 600 members. You paid, I think, $6,000+ to be a member of this. And when you saw the logs of the web chats between people from the war room to each other, a lot of it made disturbing reading. Were you disturbed by it when you read that?
Firstly, a lot of that's bullshit. A lot of that's fake. Secondly,
you think that literally those logs are fake?
Absolutely. Second,
okay, he just said all these chat logs are fucking bullshit, right? It's all fake. You know, he's got such a short goddamn memory, and this is why you don't get online and have to cover your ass because it's public relations.
Self-snitching.
Let's just see what Mr. Tate posted on his war room. You know, the PhD pimps and hoes degrees. Update on the 2 living girls together. So they became good friends and everything was stable. The girl who moved lost her support networks at home, cemented her move, talking about staying forever, can't wait to come back, etc. So I had to tighten the screw. This is his own fucking words. So I said, somebody in her old town told me she worked in a sex club. I totally made this up from Sky. So he worked in a sex club. I totally made this up from Sky.
You worked in a sex club. I did not work in a sex club. I'm not lying. Where did you get that out from? You rather believe them. I told you the truth. These people want me no good. I don't know who I have to talk to, but it's a lie. I've been only slept with 4 men in my life, and you were one of them. I have never lied to you. You said it yourself that people will try to destroy us and break us apart. I've heard things too, but I chose to believe you and not them. Andrew, answer me, please, and tell me this is a joke, because I really don't want to believe that you mean what you're saying. I'm freaking crying alone in the room. And it goes on and on and on and on. So he's been playing games the whole time with her. Yeesh.
So he's completely manipulating and lying to her. You worked in a sex club.
This is your moment to fight back. Abortion restrictions.
All right, hurry up.
Did not work. Now she feels like she has to look at this whole text. And then
sorry, call her a liar.
Another element. Since she moved, she's been fed, but nothing else. She's been fed, but nothing else. She's broke. She can't go home. She can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil. Not almost. But I'm not. I'm a shepherd leading the sheep. She doesn't realize that following me makes life better for her, even though she can't leave the fucking house, even though she can't go home because she's a captive. She has no money. I mean, are you fucking high?
Yeah, but let everybody else tell it. She need to figure it out. She can figure it out.
This is...
And they be like, it's her fault. She should have known better.
This is the definition of sex trafficking. Started calling her a liar and threatening to kick her out. But the real goal is for her to agree to never go anywhere without me, not even her hometown. I need her working, not visiting friends back in her hometown. So putting nails in the coffin, saying my people there are talking bad about her. This is classic brainwashing and manipulation. Control, control, control.
Fake convo with G, me pretending I love her, G speaking sense.
And guess what that control is? That control is coercion. So we have the force. Well, we don't have the force yet. That's in another area. But we have the fraud with the taxes, and now we have the coercion. This control, limiting their. She's got food, but that's it. You know, it's control. This is what we're talking about here. You know, what kills me is guys with such hubris when it's so easily fact checked, and he's saying all these text messages are bullshit.
But the BBC verified them.
Yeah, I'm done. They'll figure it out one day. But this is crazy. I don't know. Okay, I saw something pop up on my StreamYard. It's like a new thing I'm not aware of. StreamYard is so weird. All right. Call night. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Again, just a friendly reminder, unless I don't do anything in the morning, group conversation is scheduled. Everybody's prepped and updated for that for next Tuesday. I got to reach out to Marcus, somebody for a translator for the for a guest for Tuesday. So, that part. Yeah, appreciate you. Definitely sound. Thank you for coming on through and adding your input on it. We're pretty much on the same page with this. I don't know. So much information going around, contradicting everything that Andrew Tate says, but unfortunately, you know, you got people who want to believe what they want to believe. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. So right now it is the, hey, Marcus, you there, man? I was just going to hit you up. Tuesday, group conversation, not 8 p.m. Central Time, but 7 p.m. Central Time Tuesday. Okay. I'll hit you up. Appreciate you, good sir. So I will talk to y'all later. So again, thank you, Marcus, for chiming on through. Salute. Let me know when you know. Okay. It'll be Tuesday, 7 p.m., but I will let you know and get everybody on point with the conversation. Where's the... Okay. Sorry. It's getting late. All right. Catch y'all guys later. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.